Hello? Who's that? Is that Big Ten play on the line? Big Ten play is here, Car. Is Purdue at Maryland? We're kicking off the conference season. Are you excited for this one?
Is that your daughter's play phone?
Yeah. Yep.
That's crazy. That's really crazy.
Yeah. This little guy right here, we call him Lance Jones.
Oh, he kind of looks like Lance Jones.
I don't know about that, but anyways, hey, fun game. I think Maryland's a lot worse than people thought. Are we doing champagne refills?
I mean, it's opened and I don't know. Yeah,
That's a good call. 1 second here. I mean, go ahead and take over. Are you excited for this game?
I'm very excited. I mean, we're talking about the current number one team, best team in the country right
Hey, babe,
now.
could I get a champagne refill? Okay, thanks. Go on.
Why'd you use that? Why'd you use that phone?
Well, nice.
Yeah.
Purdue's really good. We essentially said in our whole last preview, they're just really good. That's all it is. Right here, this is wife's hand pouring champagne.
Damn, Mal, that was
Uh,
fast.
Mal, say a word to the Purdue fans watching our preview.
Go Zahidi.
Hey, that's
Hey,
Peeper's National Player of the Year, Zach Edey, by the way. It was a clean Purdue sweep at the award show. Anyways, a lot of bubbles. We're gonna have to work on the champagne pours, honey. But you're doing great. I'm being shushed. Purdue at Maryland. Let's get to the preview. I was saying before we clicked record on this that it's going to be fun to do a bunch of really good games because every game from here on out is like a very competitive basketball game potentially. We do expect Purdue to run through the Big Ten still. But look, man, Big Ten play is different as evidenced by Purdue being 0-1 on the road this season in a true away game at Northwestern. They have not played another true away game. They've been unbeatable on neutrals, as everybody knows. They've been unbeatable in the non-conference, as everyone knows. Notably, this game is not on a neutral, and it's not in the non-conference. Do you think that really seriously matters for Maryland's chances in this game?
I think it does because here's the theory I've been kind of working on and thinking of, and you could shoot it down if you want. But because of what I interpret as the Big Ten non-conference, like as a whole, the Big Ten and the non-con did not do what people thought they would do. Like Michigan State faltered, Maryland faltered. I just don't think that the Big Ten as a whole outside of Purdue and Illinois had that great of a non-conference. I guess I could throw Indiana in there because they won a lot of their games, but still at this point. With that said, now getting into the meat of conference play, these Big Ten teams need these wins for resumes if they want any chance of making it to the tournament. Maryland needs this game. This could mean a lot for Maryland if they want to, because right now I don't even think they're in the tournament in the projected field. I might have to check that, but if they could get a win over Purdue, that would actually work amazing wonders to do so. So I think that Maryland's going to be the more desperate team. I think that Maryland does have guys like we saw the Northwestern versus Purdue formula. Was it not just like Budarius go out there and cook them? Maryland has a guard who can do that, and Jameer Young, who has had some big games as of recently. I think you pointed out he had 35 in their last game. So it's dangerous. I don't know if the environment in Maryland will be as good as it is if the students were there. I'm not sure how winter break works for the Terps. But I mean, a road game in the Big Ten is hard to win. And in Purdue's first test on the road in the Big Ten, they failed. So I'll be interested to see what they do and what they look like in this game against Maryland. Because I don't think it's going to be easy, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I do think, I think road games in general are really hard, but you said something that sticks out to me as like important for a game like this. You talked about Maryland's resume. I think there are teams in this conference that have resumes that are significantly worse than the caliber of themselves as a team could be. And then I think there are teams that like it's kind of the flip side. Like right now, Northwestern has an okay resume outside of the Chicago State thing. That's a killer for sure. But Indiana, solid resume, right? Like they're 10-3. They haven't really had any horrible losses at this point. Like they've mostly held serve in their biggest games of the season thus far, and mostly held serve against bad teams. They're not a good basketball team, but they're 10-3. Maryland, like by all accounts, has been bad. Like this is a team that, according to Ken Popcart, this team is like 10 spots lower than Michigan. Michigan's horrible. Michigan has no chance of making the NCAA tournament. But because you step back broadly and see that Maryland's 9-4 with a win over UCLA, they have a chance, right? Like they need to do a lot of work in Big Ten play, but the record isn't like that of a 500 team, even though they essentially have played like a 500 team or worse. Now, the beginning of the season was horrible. Those 3 straight losses, Davidson, UAB, and Villanova, those aren't going to hold up as great losses. Davidson and UAB are not good teams. But like nobody's mad at them for losing on the road to Villanova. Nobody's mad at them for losing on the road to Indiana, even though those were really ugly performances. Probably important to note, Cart. This team's 9-0 at home this year. All 9 of Maryland's wins have come at home. Or 8 of their 9 wins have come at home. All of their losses have come neutral or away. So I do think it's fair to say this is a different team at home. This is certainly a team with talent. Like, this is not a team we look at like even with Indiana where they're talented. Like, we're like, there's massive holes everywhere. I don't think there's a ton of holes on Maryland. Like, they need more shooting for sure. But like they have a talented backcourt, they have a talented front court, and they have multiple options on the wing. They just need to string it together, make some shots, and play to their ceiling. And maybe they're a team that clicks at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, they have the talent, like you said, and does it come together? Do they turn a corner? Is it like a, Coach Willard rallying cry, like throw the non-conference away? Now it's Big Ten play. We got like, let's get into it. Start of the new year. Let's show the team that we can be. Maybe we get a Deshaun Harris-Smith, like second half of the season, Ohio State random freshman Malachi Branham type breakout. Like that guy becomes what we thought he was going to be. This team has the tools to do it. Now, with that said, to talk about this from a Purdue standpoint, Julian Reese can't stop fouling anybody. He might have 2 fouls the minute he takes off his warm-up against Zach Edey. Once they lose him, I don't know if they'll even stand a chance. I don't think that Julian Reese, even out of foul trouble, can check Zach Edey. To just be honest, I mean, he's not big enough. He's not tall enough to check Zach Edey. But I mean, we saw this same. I can't help but think back to what Northwestern did to this team this year. Like Northwestern didn't have the size to deal with Zach Edey. They didn't have it, but they had Budarius Bowie, and they had Ty Berry and that lane boy. They had guys that can knock down shots. If Maryland can do that, if Jameer Young can be special and be one of the best point guards in the country, which I think he has the ability to be, I think this could be a closer game than people think. And, coming off of some lesser opponents for Purdue after Christmas, New Year, it's just it's a big shift from going to like the Jacksonville, Eastern Kentucky at home to going on the road against a desperate Maryland team. That's a huge shift.
Yeah, team with talent that is desperate for resume win, that has won 8 of their last 9 games, that hasn't lost at home this season. That's a scary thing. What did I tell you via text the other day? Home dogs?
Home dogs are they're not dogs, they're wolves.
Home dogs are not dogs. They're wolves. That's what we have here. And I think Maryland is a wolf at home. Now, can I give you a number?
Please.
The last 4 times that Purdue has traveled to Maryland and played a basketball game at Maryland, 4 games. How many of those games has Purdue won?
1.
0. Maryland has won 4 consecutive games in this series, in this building. Purdue has arguably been the better team in all of them. Hasn't mattered. Maryland has won. So, listen, I'm signaling where I'm headed with this. Ken Pom has Maryland as a 10-point underdog in this game. I'll say this. I won't be able to bet Maryland fast enough. Now, a couple things that kind of give me ghosts to the Northwestern game. Jameer Young is a guard who can absolutely give Braden Smith and Purdue 35 points. We just saw Jameer Young do this against UCLA a couple weeks. He had 37 on the road at UCLA. And I get it. UCLA is not a good basketball team, but like young, talented backcourt, like, oh, UCLA can hang. UCLA was the favorite. No, Jameer Young stepped on the court and gave him 37. Like, he can do that. He can single-handedly do that. So Boo Buie was able to feast against Purdue in a variety of ways. He had the clutch gene. I still think Boo Buie is a much better player than Jameer Young, but matchup-wise, do you think this is one that Jameer Young can win decisively against Braden Smith?
I do, and I'm very intrigued and interested to see if there's any changes defensively because I think that Northwestern did a lot of like we're gonna hunt out Fletcher, put him in ball screens, and in some situations I get you can't fight through that, but in a lot of the possessions that I saw, I felt that guys like Braden or guys like Lance Jones or whoever was on the floor could have done a better job of fighting through screens and not taking the easy way out to switch in order to not get the matchup because I saw a lot of Boo hunting out Fletcher, hunting out Camden Heidi. Like I saw a lot of that in that game. So I'm very interested to see one, if Willard sees that that is something that he can attack Purdue, and two, to see if Purdue makes changes on that because I thought that that was their downfall in the Northwestern game. So, I think there is something to say that Jameer Young is the prototype type of guard that can give Purdue trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I feel like I've swung a little too far in the wrong direction on Purdue just lately, in a sense that we're only talking about how scary this is for them. Make no mistake about it. Purdue coming to Maryland is scarier for Maryland than it is for Purdue. Maryland is just in a sense where I think they feel like they have nothing to lose at this point. Purdue has a lot to lose, right? Purdue's kind of the talk of college basketball. And, oh, by the way, they're a game behind Illinois in the standings. And Illinois has a lot going on with it. But you can't tell me, like, Purdue doesn't have an eye on, like, oh, we're already a game back. We can't lose a game like this,
Is there also somewhat of a look ahead, look over this game vibe to it, or no?
Well, yeah, they do have Illinois at home in Mackey Arena. I think there might be. I don't want to say there's not. I think that is one they have circled for sure. But Painter's too good of a coach. I don't think like I think when they get into the game, there's not going to be a sense of like, oh, they're looking ahead.
Yeah, I think everything we said culminates to the point where I'm saying that this is a Purdue win, but this is a Maryland gives them trouble or Maryland covers. Purdue wins, but let's not, they're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna run Maryland out the building.
Yeah, I want to make this abundantly clear. Purdue's going to win this conference. They're going to win this conference by multiple games. I said they lose one of the next two. This is the one they lose.
Ooh, you're going there?
I think Purdue goes down at Maryland, and then I think they come back to Mackey Arena, and it's like statement 30-point win over Illinois.
Ooh.
It's my read on this. It's my read.
That sucks for the Illini.
It's my read. I could be wrong. I've been wrong plenty of times this year. With that said, I have scratched and clawed my way back to 2 games under 500 with the bets. So, like, that feels like 30 games above 500 based on where I was a month ago. Yeah, I'll be betting Maryland money line. It's going to be sent to you in a round robin. Just be prepared. Don't feel great about it, but I do think the betting values on that one for sure. All right. After this, I'm really excited to talk about Purdue, Illinois later this week. We'll have previews for that. We'll have recap of Purdue, Maryland later this week. As Purdue fans know, you can subscribe to the Sleepers Media channel to see all of it. And go watch our award show. That comes out Tuesday. I think this video is going to come out before, but I alluded to it at the beginning of the video. Lots of Purdue love in the midseason award show that we are affectionately dubbing the Peepers. So congrats, Purdue, for winning a bunch of those awards. And good luck against Maryland. Should be a really, really fun game.